By the Aggies, and Pryor defended by Maddie McDaniel. So a shift in the starting five for head coach Dawn Staley. Gamecocks currently on the one line, according to ESPN bracketologist Charlie Cream. That means every game critical. Pryor with the mid-range, and the Aggies strike first.
What a nice pull-up jumper. If you don't step out with that post on that ball screen, then she has free reign. No contested shot for the knockdown.
Aggies open up in a zone. It's the first career start for McDaniel. And the three, the quick response for Tessa Johnson, leading three-point shooter for Carolina.
If you aren't in her shorts at the start of the game, she's going to knock down threes all day long.
Starting five for the Aggies. Led by Pryor, and her 15 points per game. We'll stay with Texas A&M a minute in. Gamecocks with a 13-4 all-time advantage in the series against Texas A&M. The two schools met as the Aggies joined the SEC more than a decade ago. That's a three, and the response by Flau'jae.
That's great, confident offense by Texas A&M right now to knock down threes early in this game.
Do you like Texas A&M opening up in a zone?
I think it's interesting, but you've got to know where Tessa Johnson is. Now, she has a turnover right there. Not quite sure why, but you've got to know where Tessa Johnson is. But for Flau'jae right here, for Fats, they call her Fats. Look, that's a confident three-point shooter right there. And she doesn't shoot it at a high percentage, only 28%. But when you're playing the South Carolina, you got to let it go.
Got to let it loose. Here's Pryor, bottled up by McDaniel. She'll get the screen. When Nasira Pryor was out on the court and the traveling violation against Hilton, Pryor was here getting up mid-range shots like that first jumper she hit 90 minutes before shoot-around early today. Was the only player in the gym working on that jumper.
She's got goals, big dreams. She wants her basketball career to continue, so she continues to work on her game every day.
McDaniel off the mark from distance, and a foul inside off the offensive rebound by Joyce Edwards.
Now McDaniel gets the start today. In that Auburn game they just came off of, she had 9 points. She hit every shot she took, her free throws, her twos, her three. But McDaniel brings an energy for defense also.
Pryor in elite company, including company in the building tonight in terms of players that have scored over 2,000 points, 500 assists, 400 steals. You got Nye Pryor and Dawn Staley on that very exclusive list, which is pretty special and pretty spectacular when you think about it.
Well, it's very special, and I'm sure Nasira knows exactly where she is in that pecking order right there, and there's nothing more that she would like to do than to overtake Dawn Staley.
I don't know that anybody overtakes Dawn Staley in anything,
right.
But just to be on the same list,
yeah,
special.
This is a good matchup between McDaniel and Pryor, because both of these can defend. Both of them are very active, aggressive point guards. It'll be interesting to see how they get after each other tonight.
Tied at 5, a shot clock issue, and they'll come back and do it all over again. Pryor versus McDaniel, again a good matchup, Coach, like you said. Pryor at only 5 feet 3 inches tall. Aggies go back to work on offense.
Pryor 5'3", but electric. She is quick, fast, quick hands.
Attack forced the turnover. Johnson lost the handle. Here comes Pryor, her first steal of the evening. In and out, well defended by Edwards. The putback by Flau'jae.
Really nice follow right there by Flau'jae. But Pryor, you saw how quick she gets to the rim, but great defense right there by South Carolina.
Aggies drop back into the zone, almost daring Carolina to take the open three. Touch for Raven Johnson. Gamecocks almost with 2 point guards in the backcourt with McDaniel and Johnson. No Tanaya Latson tonight. Johnson for 3. And off the mark. She comes up short.
Really good defense by Texas A&M. They gave up the three-point shot to Raven Johnson, but took away the inside shot, and that's part of their defensive plan.
Hilton off the mark, tracked down by Pryor. How imperative is it for Texas A&M to get off to a good start tonight against a team like this, Coach?
It's crucial. It is definitely imperative. because South Carolina can, if you let them get their running game going, that is not a good thing. So they've got to be aggressive on the defensive boards. They cannot let South Carolina hurt them on the O boards. They've got to get there. They've got to make stops.
Gamecocks typically off and running in that first quarter. Team with just 2 losses. The only setbacks coming to Oklahoma and Texas. One of those in overtime. More explosive version of this squad for Dawn Staley. Skip pass to Johnson. Tessa from the corner, her second 3.
That is beautiful offense by South Carolina. Now they're working against this zone. Joyce Edwards easily could have taken that pull-up jumper in the paint, and she finds that great 3-point shooter in Tessa Johnson who knocks it down.
I mean, basketball has evolved in that way, hasn't it? Like you'll take the inside out for the longer 3 with all the great shooters we've got.
That's right. No, some teams just say we're not taking the mid-range, we're taking layups like that one and 3s.
South Carolina extends its lead, 10-7. Ocott on the move with a fast break. Just underway in College Station, 4.5 minutes in. Aggies coming in at 1-7 in the league, 8-9 overall. Corner 3 for Hilton. That's an air ball. Ahead to Edwards.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful basketball right there. Joyce Edwards just looks like a deer running down the floor, right down the middle of the floor, and an excellent pass.
Coach, she's faster this year. You can see the spring in her step.
I agree. She's definitely faster. You know, she's really expanding her game. I think we're going to see her play some 3, maybe some 2 tonight with this. They can put a bigger lineup on the floor. It'll be interesting to see that. So South Carolina.
The basketball, they're doing it again this year.
Yeah, no doubt. When you add a player like a Taniyah Latson who likes to run, that's her style of play. And then Dawn had other players who could play that style also. It puts more points. It gives you opportunities to get more shots on the basket, push pace, get easy shots too.
Edwards off the mark, too strong. And the Aggies rip away the rebound. Shawnee now with 2 personal fouls was called for the offensive infraction as we went to break. Gamecocks in the midst of a 7-0 run. And without 2 key starters tonight, including Taniyah Latson. Here's Hilton from 15. And Edwards with the box out and the save.
What a great hustle by Joyce Edwards. But I'm seeing her get on the floor more this year. She's playing with a lot of passion on the defensive end.
Heat check for Tessa. And Johnson out with her 3rd triple.
She shoots 46% from the 3. She's shooting 100% right now, 3 for 3. You've got to know where Tessa Johnson is at all times.
15-7, Gamecocks open up their largest lead.
You see Isla McDowell, the freshman for South Carolina, came onto the floor after the timeout. She's getting a lot of really good playing time, and her game is really improving. Now look at this defense right here. That's right. That's your All-American getting on the floor. And the girl Joyce Edwards, and here we go. We find Tessa Johnson on the other end, and you cannot go under any kind of screens. You cannot lose contact with Tessa Johnson.
Franchini checks in, the freshman from Italy, promptly delivers with a mid-range. Make it 15-9. Aggies have opened up tonight in that zone, and they have stuck with it. Johnson to Edwards. Outside to Tessa Johnson, her 4th 3. On fire to start for number 5.
Really like this offense that Dawn Staley's running. They worked on it today in shoot around. They're penetrating from the top, drawing the defenders and leaving the backside wide open. But if you're A&M, you've got to know that's Tessa Johnson back there in that weak side corner.
18-9. Tessa Johnson with 4 threes to start. Isira Pryor off the screen. Probing right under the rim and rejected. Gamecocks will save it. And they'll call a shot clock violation. Year 4 for Joni Taylor, arriving in College Station from Athens. Her team, 8-9 coming in. Former head coach at Georgia, which you got to know her pretty well during your time at Georgia Tech.
She is an outstanding human being and an excellent basketball coach. She's one of my favorite. Her and Dawn have got to be 2 of my favorite coaches and just wonderful human beings. Young women are extremely fortunate to be able to play under these two women.
Alicia Tornaby's on the floor for the first time. And the pass caroms out of bounds for a turnover. Blistering start for the Gamecocks on the road. 4 of 6 from deep, 6 of 9 overall.
You see the man defense that South Carolina is putting on A&M. Well, nice shot by Pryor right there, but South Carolina's got some of the toughest defense in the country.
Is it just the length, or is it the quickness, or all the above?
It's all of the above. They've got length, quickness. Their size can be incredibly intimidating.
Ocott, the baseball pass out of bounds.
You know, Pryor is maybe the smallest player on the floor, but she's fearless. That's a beautiful pull-up jumper right there, about 17 feet, and she nails it. She has no fear. You know, she had great success at Sacred Heart, 2-time Player of the Year in that conference, and just did some outstanding things. Now she wanted to come to Power 4 and prove that she could play at this level.
Cheney Spencer on the floor for the first time for A&M, as is Emerald Parker. Shot clock down to 5. Spencer's got to go. 2 shot clock violations for the Aggies here in our first quarter.
You see how it's hard for A&M to get any kind of action to the basket off the bounce. Now Pryor is finding some success, but it's hard to play against the South Carolina defense off the bounce. You need some screening help, off-ball screening help, better opportunities to feed the ball inside.
Raven Johnson, the floater. She comes up short. Great box out by the freshman, Franchini. And the Aggies give it right back.
We're going to get a good look at Tornaby's, the freshman from France. She's going to get probably a lot more minutes tonight with some of the injuries that South Carolina is going through. You only have a 9-man roster tonight, but she needs this. This is valuable playing time for her.
When your roster is down to 9, it obviously impacts you as a head coach in a multitude of ways. What's number one on that list in terms of how it changes things?
Well, you've got 2 starters out, so that affects how things are run offensively. Because you get into a rhythm of how you're playing, and that's probably the biggest thing. Defensively, everybody should be playing hard, and you shouldn't make a difference there. But offensively, it can get you out of whack.
Spencer connects with a mid-range jumper, 18-13. Shot clock is off. And the Aggies trying to weather this early Carolina storm, trailing by 5.
I like the zone that A&M's playing. I think it's slowed South Carolina down outside of those couple of transition baskets that they've gotten off of rebounds. But it's made them really think offensively. It's probably helped lessen the amount of points on the board right now for South Carolina.
First personal, third team foul.
But you can't foul.
So McDaniel was fouled on the move. Webster picks up her first. Maddie McDaniel, first career start tonight, 68% free throw shooter. We remind you, coming up Thursday night, another ESPN Play for K women's basketball doubleheader. First place in the ACC at stake. Up first, it's Duke at Louisville. Cards playing some great basketball. It's at 7 Eastern. Then LSU at Texas. Top 5 matchup, a rough and rugged SEC at 9 o'clock Eastern. That is Thursday on ESPN. Couple of free throws. There goes Pryor. Corner 3 rejected. And that will end our first 10 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first quarter score is South Carolina 22.
How about Island?
Gamecock shooting 60.